So again, you heard our report earlier. Again, you have Metro Manila in some provinces de-escalating to alert level 2. These cases are now on a downtrend. But if you look at the figures, numbers are still quite high. Are we moving quite hastily on this, or have we already found a good balancing act here?
Yeah, well, I think the government has been taking their cue from what has happened in other countries. No? So that's why, well, we know that the numbers have actually, especially the positivity rate has actually gone down consistently. And we have been below, I believe, 18,000 for the last 3 days or 4 days. So I really think that these factors have been some of the considerations for them to, to revert back to alert level 2.
But how much do you see this at least pump priming the economy, especially now that we are easing restrictions in the economic powerhouse, which is, of course, Metro Manila?
Yeah, well, I didn't quite get the last one. So, but definitely, it would open up a lot of services and everything. Just like what happened in the last month of the fourth quarter, or even the last 2 months, I should say, the fourth quarter, where I would say there's some big spending. I think that it would really, hopefully it can resume. Resume. People can go back to just dining out again and traveling and all of these discretionary spending again out there. So we are actually pointing that out as we know that the Philippine economy is basically consumption driven. So it's something that we're very sensitive to in terms of our forecast for 2022.
Carlo, when we look at inflation in other countries, particularly the US, decades high, and the Fed doing, having a hawkish tone in terms of arresting inflation, are you not worried that the same thing might happen to the Philippines? Just general reopening of the world and the economy, and our need to come up from record low interest rates. And people, Goldman Sachs already predicting 4 or 5 rate hikes for the Fed this year. How long can we stay accommodative?
Yeah, we'll take. We're putting a tab on it now. We're very sensitive to it now. Whether or not we will suffer the fate of a reopening economy where there's so much demand and so much even the supply chain situation getting into the mix. We are taking note of it. And so far our inflation forecast for the year 2022 is at 3.3%, still within the government's target. And we are taking into account and we're watching closely, but as of now, we are not moving our forecasts.
Carlo, like what you mentioned, there are certain sides or at least aspects of the economy that's slow to recover. Given that, where do you see at least sparking growth for 2022? I mean, after rebounding in full year 2021, do you expect the economy to continue on that track?
Yeah, well, we know that Omicron, as we have said, that it is going to have an impact, but it's going to be short-lived. That's why we're maintaining our forecast for 2022 GDP growth at 6.2%. And we're thinking again, as I mentioned, about it's going to be a consumption-driven growth this year. Again, barring any new variant, and barring anything that will come out that will be worse than what we expect. I think the worst one was Delta. That is what we've experienced so far. And at the same time, how part-time jobs are still, more than the full-time jobs as we see it. And those are the two basic downsides that we're seeing that will actually threaten the consumption-driven growth that we are seeing as very important this year. That's a big spending, as I mentioned. People just wanted to go out and buy No? And yeah, that's where it is.
Final question on the topic of rates and inflation. Have you seen already, now we're 2 years into the pandemic, this accommodative and monetary policy having an impact on the economy fundamentally? Are you seeing that in the loan growth? Are you seeing that in the property sector? Where can we see that? Are you seeing that in, better consumption?
I think we pretty much on consumption, yes, but I think one of the components of the economy, as we know, is real investments, and we actually pointed out that it will be slowly recovering, to its levels of back in the heydays of 2017, 2019. When much of the push comes from real investments in the private sector. And it would take some time, especially that it's actually even election year. You have to be cozy with the new administration, the backdrop of higher interest rates outside, and of course, even our own, central bank actually raising their rates. So, and the sluggish intertrade situation in the region, knowing that even was how China is doing right now. So I think it has but there's certain portions of the economy that are slow to respond because of certain factors.